Thank you, Kari. That was wonderful. I had to laugh just a little bit inwardly when you said you were going to see the floor, because I can imagine Max making a terrible pun out of that very phrase. That's how he was. And hi, everybody, and hi to Elizabeth. I know she's listening. I missed you very much. This is Max's poem, Afternoon. When I was about to die, my body lit up like when I leave my house without my wallet. What am I missing? I ask, patting my chest pocket. And I am missing everything living that won't come with me into this sunny afternoon. My body lights up for life, like all the wishes being granted in a fountain at the same instant, all the coins burning the fountain dry. And I give my breath to a small bird-shaped pipe. In the distance, behind several voices haggling, I hear a sound like heads clicking together, like a game of pool played with people by machines. It was back on May 5th, 2015, that's 5/5/15, or 555 days ago tomorrow, that I first read this poem. Max had emailed it to me and to the others in our thesis workshop at Columbia early in the morning for a meeting that would be taking place later that day, that afternoon, the first of our several post-semesters and never can say goodbye bonus workshops. Max wanted us to take a look at this poem and a couple of revisions. The postscript to his email read, "I'll see you all today for as long as I can, but I have had the shit knocked out of me by a new chemotherapy, so y'all be gentle now." Max was joking, but also not joking, letting us know he was in pain, but only pretending he wanted us to go gentle with him. I'm touching my tie clip because it's a scarab. I think he would get a kick out of that. Because even as his body grew frail, the poet in him stayed robust. The spirit stayed robust. He was robuster than the rest of us put together. Having him around made us stronger, made us warriors, made us feel like what we were doing at the time or what we might do next could make a difference, could open a door, dispel a toxin, make the God we needed rise up from the table between us and put an end to hatred and misery. But I've never been so sure as I am today, in the wake of what's happened, that we needed him here with us at least a little bit longer than we got. The third to last time I saw him was that fall. We met for lunch at a restaurant up near school. I think he had eggs. We sat side by side at the counter and laughed so hard we almost fell off our stools repeatedly. We had come up with some kind of routine we kept replaying. It was really genius. A little note of that Borscht Belt thing he did, a little Beckett. It was one for the ages, but I can't remember it. I can't tell you how many times I've revisited that day and tried to bring it back. The next time I saw him was in LA in March. He warned me ahead of time that he had lost so much weight he didn't want to frighten me. When I saw him, I just lit up and said, "Max, what are you talking about? You look great." And he said, batting his eyes, "Well, that's because I'm wearing a very flattering outfit." And then months later, I got to bask in his majesty and in his outfit as he read at the now famous Hudson Valley Writers Center reading. And like many of us, that was the last time I saw him. We were in touch through the summer, on and off. At one point, I sent him a photograph of two people we know and love in a classically awkward embrace that I, unbeknownst to Max, had described to Dorothea as the visual representation of the rustle of tissue paper. And wholly independently, Max told me that he thought the photograph looked like a Christmas present wrapping itself up. A continent separated us, but our minds were so close, I freaked out. We both did. "Stop," he wrote when I told him that. He wrote in all caps about the weird coincidence. "We synthesized," he said. But this is what it was like to be with Max. To synthesize with him was natural because there was too much powerful stuff in him not to mesh with. Max was the occasion we were always rising to. He was the magnet dragging over the sand of us, pulling up every last scrap of good metal. Max is the occasion we will always be rising to. His very last text to me, late July, reads, "You are my Vide Reader-in-Chief," preceded by 3 red hearts. I accepted that title, that honor, without question at the time, and I will not be relinquishing it, not ever. At that reading back in May, I was bestowed with yet another honor, namely that of introducing Max. So Ari suggested that I might read some of that intro again. And when a mom asks, I do. So here goes. Ritvo misses nothing. He sees it all. He sees past what it appears to be and into what it is, into the quick of it. He has had to. And it has made him into one of the most vitally alive people I have ever known. Or at very least, it has intensified his gift, adrenalized an aptitude he was, no doubt, blessed with at the onset. If Max Ritvo were music, he would be exactly what he already is. If Max Ritvo were a color, he would be Max Genta. If Max Ritvo were a bird, he would be every bird alive, fluttering in all directions on the compass, then hunkering down into its nests of hair and tinsel. The flightless penguins and kiwis about him would have invented flying machines, which is what his poems are. The raptors about him would be happy with their diet of biblical pulses and quinoa. And now that they don't have to hunt anymore, they've opened up bistros for all the vultures and other scavengers, because where all of this unfolds, nothing ever really dies anymore. I want to read Max's Afternoon one more time to let the last words be his, but I want to add one last recollection. The poem ends with a sound behind the hagglers like heads clicking together, like a game of pool played with people by machines. Everyone in the workshop pretty much agreed that the poem was perfect as it was, but some wondered if instead of a game of pool played with people by machines, perhaps Max had actually meant a game of pool played by people with machines. The meanings were so different. One suggested mere recreation or distraction, while the other ending suggested fatalistically that cold forces beyond our control, like Plath's fixed stars, governed our lives. In the right frame of mind, I can imagine Max putting a positive spin on this, for the sake of argument, saying something like, the joy machine is playing with me now, or the egotistical sublime machine had better start playing with me soon. And I can see him saying these things, also for the fun of it, but for the sake of argument, Max gleefully, his eyes practically boring into you with striving eagerness to make sure you felt the glee too. But in the end, the bleakness of the note struck at the end of this poem, as written, especially in light of all the machines Max had been played with by that point, has made Afternoon, to my mind, one of the most powerfully haunting of all of his poems, and one that I find myself often in need of, especially now. Afternoon. When I was about to die, my body lit up like when I leave my house without my wallet. What am I missing, I ask, patting my chest pocket. And I am missing everything living that won't come with me into this sunny afternoon. My body lights up for life, like all the wishes being granted in a fountain at the same instant, all the coins burning the fountain dry. And I give my breath to a small bird-shaped pipe. In the distance, behind several voices haggling, I hear the sound like heads clicking together, like a game of pool played with people by machines.